One of the biggest things to come out of Modern Warfare was the changeover from not only just paid to free DLC, but the fact that all post-launch content came at one singular time. No staggered 30-day or 1-week release window where one console had exclusivity. Or for the most part. Most DLC was released all at once, but we ended up seeing that there were a few things that were exclusive to PlayStation and that had about a year tag on them where they weren't able to be played for anybody on PC or Xbox One until about that 1 year afterwards mark. Come October 1st of 2020, all of that should have opened up, and well, it should have, but it didn't. Today we're going to break down a couple of things that never made their way over to PC and Xbox One that were PlayStation exclusives, and also one thing that never even came to PlayStation, which is strangest of all perhaps. So today, as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Did you guys have any idea this was the case where content was not yet released where it should have been? Any of these things that you really like or that you were happy that you got exclusivity on PlayStation? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. As well, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing running all things Warzone, Cold War, Modern Warfare even, and especially as we gear up for Season 4 here, we'll keep you up to date with absolutely everything. We're on that road to 500,000 subscribers, so if you guys would like to join the community, I'd love to have you. And finally, my friends over at G Fuel bumped up code Espresso to 30% off, so if you guys are interested in checking it out for the first time, getting a restock, whatever it may be, links in the description below if you guys are interested. But anyways, let's jump right into it. So when it comes down to the heart of the exclusivity deals and agreements here, this is something that goes back for as long as we can remember. This was something that Xbox and Xbox 360 ended up having it, and for a little bit, Xbox One as well had exclusivity for 30 days over PlayStation and PC users. But with Black Ops 3, that contract was then outbid likely by PlayStation and Sony, to which that exclusivity deal swapped, and Xbox players were now with PC in being 30 days behind PlayStation. But as we mentioned in the intro here, Modern Warfare kind of changed all of that. For the first time within Call of Duty's modern history, we ended up getting all DLC at the same time, plus for free. So that's something that if they were still in that agreement with PlayStation and Sony, they likely didn't take too kindly to that, because then you're taking off one of the things they bought into with buying those rights to Call of Duty. But those exclusivity rights were made up elsewhere. One of the big ones is that of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign remaster that was released halfway through the lifespan of Modern Warfare, but also within Modern Warfare was in the way of missions as well as, most notably, co-op or Spec Ops Survival. The biggest wave here was that of Spec Ops Survival. Truth be told, I never played it during the entirety of Modern Warfare, maybe like once or twice when it was first released on PlayStation to try it out, but I personally didn't think you missed all that much, but it did cause quite a stir, a controversy, whenever it was announced that this entire mode would be something that was released to PlayStation first and for an entire year. The exclusivity window for PlayStation and this co-op mode was up until October 1st of 2020, a whole almost year after the launch of Modern Warfare. Not talking just like a season or two, but the entire year. And coincidentally, that was actually when the entire exclusivity period for PlayStation content overall ended up finishing off. But the weird part is that while it's straightforward, players now have access to Survival on PC and on Xbox. Some of the timed exclusives in terms of missions, those are still yet to be found, and one in particular never even made it to PlayStation. And starting with the stuff about even the PlayStation exclusive that never released, that would be the Fatal Freeze Kilo Weapon Blueprint. Now, a shout out to Mugs Money, who tweeted me this and mentioned if I knew anything about this, and to which case that answer was no, and it prompted almost this entire discussion as the catalyst here, because this is just fascinating to me that we haven't seen some of this stuff introduced just yet. But the Fatal Freeze was even introduced via PlayStation on Twitter on April 21st as a part of the Season 3 exclusivity, the missions that came along with that, but it was never actually introduced into the game. If you have the game on PlayStation, PS4, or PS5, you can actually check out these missions for yourself and see that there are ones that are marked as PlayStation exclusive. However, being that we're all throughout all 6 seasons of Modern Warfare and everything is there and everything that's been introduced is introduced, this is notably missing. Now, what's interesting is that this would have been ahead of its time almost if this was introduced based off of the PlayStation tweets announcing that it was coming to the game, because this Kilo build had the Commando foregrip, had the hollow sight, and had the Synguard Arms Sniper Pro stock. 2 of those 3 were a part of the meta builds within the Kilo meta in Season 4 and 5, if I'm not mistaken, if it was, especially if you ended up having Blue Dot on that hollow sight. Plus, You also wouldn't lose anything in terms of the cool looking blue design if you added to the weapon. You may have lost a little bit if you ended up changing the barrel, which I probably would have, but you know, one can hope that that would stay there and wouldn't be too altered from the base PlayStation blue that we ended up seeing here on this. But it was an overall really cool blueprint that never came around. And if you were to take a look at any of the blueprints that were rewards in those missions throughout the year, every single one that was listed and officially promoted on Call of Duty's website, PlayStation's website, they were all released through Season 0 to Season 6. You had things like the Suffering's End, the Tenderizer, the Howler, the Jack Frosty, the Lucky Strike, the Cold Rift, the Grand Rapids, and the Tide Pool. All of those were introduced, and even on the official Modern Warfare / PlayStation website, that Fatal Freeze is included in those exclusive mission challenge rewards, and it just never showed up. But what's even more curious outside of just the Fatal Freeze blueprint is the fact that none of these mission exclusives ended up making it to PC or Xbox. If you go and take a look at these currently, you still don't have access to any of these that were introduced. And one could maybe make the argument that it was something that this exclusivity and the timed exclusivity was only available for survival. And normally I actually would have been inclined to say that's probably what's the case. But when you go and take a look at some of the legal terminology where they place these asterisks that indicate that it is exclusive until that timed point of October 1st, 2020, included in that is the exclusive asterisk challenge missions, meaning the exclusivity on these as well for PlayStation were only meant to go until October 1st of 2020, but they still elude those players on PC and on Xbox. So to me, that just begs the question on where are these? Because while there are a million different blueprints that I think look better than some of these, it is a matter of, if you're a completionist, you might want to get these done. Or maybe there's one that really stands out to you. Unfortunately, with crossplay and the way that it works with Modern Warfare and now even with Black Ops Cold War, is that items that are exclusive to that platform don't actually transfer over in terms of their blueprints and the design that they have if you switch from, say, in my case, PlayStation 4, I can earn them there and then bring it over to PC, and that's where I mainly play on. That blueprint doesn't actually come over onto PC, which is the unfortunate part, and even worse is that with Black Ops Cold War, even shop bundles you end up buying don't transfer from console to console, which is the weirdest thing to me. Modern Warfare didn't have that issue, but I wonder if this is ever one of those things that we'll end up getting an answer for. Modern Warfare seems to be largely done with all of its content. Of course, we still have SOAP, we still have the CX-9, the RAL LMG, and a handful of other items, including, say, another Sparks bundle. But while that's still likely to come at some point, this has been something that has been not really talked about or acknowledged in 8 months now at this point, which kind of perplexes me. I honestly didn't know about this until, once again, the Twitter user Mugs Money brought it up to me. So that's where we're gonna leave it, I think. Just wanted to casually discuss this with you guys because it is quite a fascinating mystery to me that we, again, on the smaller scale, are missing some things, but we're missing them no less, and with no real mention of them to begin with. Again, Spec Ops Survival is playable on PC and Xbox One and all the Xbox consoles now, so that's the biggest one here that, again, while it was something that players were not happy at the time, there is now the opportunity to do it, but some of the other stuff is just outright missing, which is the strangest part to me. So let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys hopeful that these come to the game at some point, especially that Kilo blueprint? Do you guys think they will come at all? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so there's a single thing running all things Warzone, Modern Warfare, Black Ops Cold War, anything COD related, we got you covered here on the channel, especially as we gear up for Season 4 here coming in a couple of days. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. I live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.